and I think so much of what we're seeing as well is that, it's not even in the big moments, right? It's in the quiet moments where racism and unconscious bias lies, and as you've said, lies and hides and thrives. And it's those nuances that I think makes it confusing for a lot of people to understand the role that they play in that, either passively or actively, but I think even more so passively. And so much of what I've come to the understanding of, especially in learning even more about it of late, and obviously having had personal experience with it as well, but in people's complacency, they're complicit. Yeah. And that, I think, is the shift that we're seeing, to go, it's not enough to just be a bystander and saying, well, it wasn't me. And that's what I think was very much manifested in what you're feeling from people's outpouring surrounding the murder of George Floyd. That it wasn't that this wasn't always happening, it's that it's come to a head at a time where people just said, enough. And I'm curious to know from all of you how you're seeing the effects of Black Lives Matter obviously, Mike, you're in Manchester, you said, but around the world where the rest of you are, how you're seeing that play out and percolate there.
And they most likely will have the best and most informed diagnosis of the problem. And that will in itself lend to a more complete and, let's say, comprehensive solution.
What I'm hearing from that is know when to lead and know when to listen.
Yes.
And those are probably the two key things in this moment that I think people, that distinction of knowing when, like, you need to be on the right side of this, as we all do, but you also need to know that in being on the right side of it sometimes just involves listening and having an understanding of what's at play.
Certainly when you look across the Commonwealth, there's no way that we can move forward unless we acknowledge the past. And I think so many people have done such an amazing, incredible job of acknowledging the past and trying to right those wrongs. But I think we all acknowledge on here that there is so much more still to do. It's not going to be easy, and in some cases it's not going to be comfortable, but it needs to be done because guess what? Everybody benefits. So I think there's a hell of a lot that we together need to acknowledge, but I only see hope and optimism in the fact that we could only do this together.
We have to, in this moment in time, say, we're going to have to be a little uncomfortable right now because it's only in pushing through that discomfort that we get to the other side of this and find the place, as you're pointing out, where a high tide raises all ships. Equality does not put anyone on the back foot. It puts us all on the same footing, which is a fundamental human right. And that's what we're talking about here. The world is craving a healing through everything that's happened over these several months. And we really look back at history for obviously much longer than that. And I think, Alicia, to your point earlier, talking about discomfort and why it's an important recognition is that it's like growing pains. Growing pains are painful. This process is painful, and it has been for a long time. But through that immense pain, what we can have tremendous faith in is knowing that there will be growth. And that's what we're seeing happen every single day as all of you are out there campaigning, fighting the right fight, being on the right side of history, and ensuring that we can get closer to seeing this truly as our past and not something that we have to revisit again and again and again. So we thank you and commend you for your efforts on that. It is inspiring for both of us to watch and to bear witness to, and why we, of course, made the time and find it a huge honor to be able to have this time with all of you today.
Guys, I'm aging, right? I'm 35 already, and
that's not aging.
It is aging compared to these guys. Look. But the optimism and the hope that we get is listening and speaking to people like you, because there is no turning back now, right? Everything is coming to a head. Solutions exist, and change is happening far quicker than it ever has done before. But back to all your points is we have to acknowledge, but also learn from the past where people have tried to do something similar and failed for one reason or another. How are we going to be successful this time? Because all the clues are there. We just need this movement to be able to continue this momentum for as long as it takes. And you guys are all leading that. Mike, sorry, you were next and I jumped in.
Right there with you, standing in solidarity and certainly doing everything that we can from our end. We're going to get there. And we have a lot of renewed faith and energy in that, having had this conversation. So well done.
Yeah, well done, guys. Just a huge thank you to everything that you're doing, the voice that you have, and hopefully the QCT platform is making life easier for you guys and connecting you with so many people around the world that are fighting the same fight. So yeah, this change is needed and it's coming.
Thank you all so much. Take
Thanks,
good care.
Guys.